In this episode, report, don't repost. From the heart of paradise, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Matt. And as always, we have the studio crew helping us produce the show.
And Matt, so it's kind of nice. This is a little bit different. We have a new video podcast. I'm going to say viewers, where can they find that?
Yeah, we've done a lot of work to create an even better communications channel here in PVSchools, adding video. There's so many great things going on at all of our schools. We make lots of videos for social media, and we wanted another way, another avenue that we could promote those things. So you can check out the podcast in video format on YouTube. You can also see clips of it on other social media platforms. So it's an exciting, continuous improvement of the podcast. Boys and Girls Festival Sports Track and Field begins on Monday, November 3rd. If you have a middle school student who's interested in middle school athletics, check out pvschools.net or check in with your school's athletic director.
For 40 years, PVSchools has partnered with PV Community Food Bank to provide families boxes of food who reside within the PVSchools boundaries. The food bank has provided food assistance to neighbors, students, families, and is gearing up for the holiday season. Donations can be dropped off at the PV Community Food Bank. For more information, visit the website at pvcommunityfoodbank.org.
Calling all students, are you interested in turning classroom learning into career learning? Join us for CTE Awareness Night on November 13th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at Paradise Valley High School. This is an opportunity for parents and students to meet instructors, connect with industry experts, and discover a variety of hands-on career pathways. Learn how career and technical education prepare students for a lifetime of success here in Paradise by visiting pvschools.net.
Now, back to the beat. PV beat, that is.
I'm excited to be able to offer in-studio interviews again.
Yeah, and so speaking of, we have our first in-studio interview for this school year. Welcome back to the podcast, Dr. A.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk about school safety.
You know, he's a regular on the podcast. Just give the viewer a little bit of background on who you are, because it is a new school year.
Sure. My name is Chris Osmussen. I am the Director of Student Services for Secondary Education. So I typically work with our 7th through our 12th graders and the schools that service those middle and high school level learners. But also underneath my umbrella comes school safety. And so I am the facilitator of our district emergency response team, which in PVSchools we affectionately call DIRT. The role of the district emergency response team is to really support our schools. We do a lot of the emergency response planning. We put together the school emergency response plans themselves as templates, and then we get those out to our sites where they're able to personalize it and make it really specific to their school and the learners and the staff members that are part of their school community. And then we do things like this to make sure that the community is well aware of all the things that we're doing to help ensure that our campuses remain safe learning environments.
And safety is one of those points of pride in PVSchools, would you say? I know from our perspective, we get to see a lot of feedback, and people being happy with the care we take towards safety is something that pops up every once in a while.
Absolutely. I came into the district in the summer of 2022, but I will tell you that the PVSchools' commitment to safety is decades prior to that. Really, my predecessors did a lot of work with the Arizona Department of Education and making sure that our district met those minimum requirements. We actually help write some of those minimum requirements with the Department of Education. And it's a long tradition, and I'm just happy to carry the torch now.
Well, I think it's important for us to mention, one of the reasons we want to talk about this on the podcast is, again, for the viewer, if they're parents or students, we want them to know that we take threats toward our school seriously, we take student safety seriously. And one of the ways that we decided to implement this a little bit more thoroughly is last year we started a report not repost campaign. And that was really to bring awareness to the community of how we handle things when there are social media threats and hoaxes specifically.
And it was so timely back then, too, because September of last year, all across this nation, we saw a huge spike in the number of anonymized or anonymous threats that were being posted to social media. And it was really impacting teaching and learning. And we were not immune to that. It impacted PVSchools as well. And I think through the efforts of things like report, don't repost, and really making our community aware of the challenges with these anonymized threats, that this year we've seen a great reduction in the number of anonymous threats, hoaxes, which means now we're spending more time in the classroom, more time focused on teaching and learning.
And let's talk a little bit more about these threats, because one of the things that I found interesting was often they're not even something that originate in our district. It could happen on the East Coast, and there's kind of this wave across the country where this threat would travel.
You're absolutely correct on that. And we have the benefit of working very closely with the Phoenix Police Department. They have the benefit, of course, of all of their resources, including a group called ACTIC, which is I think the anti-terrorism group. I don't know their numbers or their letters quite so well, but through them is, when we reach out to the police department and say, hey, we've seen a post of a threat, and it's got just it seems like random letters, and so they're hoping to that they'll match up with one of our schools, right? And they reach out to ACTIC, and they have a great close relationship, good conversations. And it's ACTIC that's telling us that, oh, we saw that post actually on the East Coast earlier this morning. And they can see that post as it's making its way to communities from the East Coast to the West Coast, almost crossing the nation in the morning like the sun is. And it's crossing with the start times of schools. There's usually little tiny variations. Somebody will maybe change the letters to maybe be a little bit more closely related to their school community. But by and large, we see a post that took place on the east side of the nation, it makes its way all the way across to the west side.
I think it's interesting, something you point out is that, back in the day before social media, before cell phones, if someone made a threat toward a school, it might be verbal, one student to another student, but you could kind of contain it. And I think what you just said is this is much more serious because these messages are spreading rapidly and like wildfire. And again, it's digital. And so we can't always track where it's starting, where it's going, who has seen it. So talk to the viewer. What happens if someone does see a post on social media and they're not sure what it means and they're feeling scared? What should they do?
Well, I hope that they would reach directly out to their school's administration and let the principal, the assistant principals, and those people working in the front office know that they've seen it. Maybe they could even then, if they're dropping off their student, even come in and show that post to our administrative staff. That helps us do a couple of things. First is, the more parents and students that are reporting it, we're seeing, we can hear how big of an impact it actually has on that learning community. The other thing that we can do is we can start having conversations with our students and with our families. When did you get the post? Who sent it to you? And we can start trying to do a little, through those interviews, backtracking to see when and with whom did it come into our learning community. Sometimes we can trace it all the way back to its origin on how it got into a specific school's learning community.
That brings up a good point, and kind of the core of report, don't repost. If we're not reporting it first, and our first thought is, I want to make everyone aware that this is happening, and I repost it or screenshot it and then post it on my own accounts, I'm spreading that misinformation potentially, and I'm not actually getting that information directly to the people who need it quickly, so schools and police can do thorough investigations.
Exactly. So that's another thing. As soon as we see it the first time, what we're going to do is we're going to immediately reach out to our school resource officers or to the sergeants that oversee those school resource officers. And the neat thing about that, when we're working so closely with the police department, is that our sergeants that oversee our precincts and our schools, they're reaching out to other areas of the valley, and they're talking with other officers and other police with other precincts to see if it showed up in their learning communities. And when you see that a post has been in 5, 6, 7 learning communities, and then we can begin to investigate that more of a hoax and more of a joke. But of course, we're still going to research it all the way down to the best of our abilities. But that does take some of that fear out of it right away. And that's also something that we can begin to start sharing with our families. That is, they're saying, hey, I'm reporting this post. What a great thing for us to be able to say, yes, we've already seen it. 2, we've seen it in multiple learning communities. So it's not something that's just really focused and honed in on our learning community. That helps to put our families at ease. It puts our kids kids at ease. And, that allows them to get into the classroom. And, we've lowered their affective filter so that way they're not afraid to be at school. And now they're prepared to be in a learning environment.
I like what you said about not being afraid to be in school, because one of the issues we see is it does create fear and anxiety. It does increase the rates of absenteeism. And so that's something we're trying to combat. So let me read here for a minute, just for again, those watching. With our Report, Don't Repost campaign, we had 5 key messages. And if you feel like you want to talk about 1 or 2 of them, obviously report, don't repost. One of them is be the hero. So we want to encourage students to, they're not really tattling when it's this serious. Like, they're going to be the hero perhaps and let others know what's going on, especially their school admin. The joke is not a joke. Do you know what your kids are posting? And of course, stay informed, stay calm, stay put. Do any of those resonate with you? Do you want to talk about any of those?
I really like that stay informed, stay calm, stay put. Really the safest place for kids to be is at school. We've got so many faculty members that are keeping a good eye on all of our children, all of our learners. And what a great place, that's where we can help keep kids safe, right? And then the other part of it too is that, don't break out into hysteria, right? I mean, stay calm and let the learning continue.
So the last piece of reporting this threat is when we have the opportunity as a district or school to inform the community. You kind of hinted to that earlier, but I do want to hit on the point that when we're putting out information about something that we become aware of, talk about just a little bit of what goes into that, so families know that it isn't an immediate notification because we have an obligation to be accurate.
Right. And I really appreciate the relationship that Student Services has with our marketing and communications department. And we work so closely together to, as you said, Matt, to make sure that the information that we're getting out there is accurate. So part of that communication is, one, letting the community know we're aware of it, letting the community know that we've already made contact with the police department, and now we're working in concert with our local law enforcement agencies. And I do say agencies because not only do we work with Phoenix, we work with Scottsdale. So we cover many jurisdictions. And then also, making sure that, not only are now we aware of it, but it's now a police issue now that we're really researching it. And if we find something to be valid, we're going to be super transparent with our learning communities, right? We're going to let them know that we do have an increased sense of awareness. And sometimes that means that if we're still not sure, I think our families, they may see an extra police car or 2 on campus as we bring in supports to really solidify the security measures that we have at the campuses.
Sometimes just having those extra officers in the area, or to know that there might be an extra police presence, helps put your mind at ease, because it is a scary situation to be in. Even if we believe it to be a hoax, all the evidence is pointing to it being a prank.
Right. I mean, those just extra eyes and ears, we take safety very seriously in PVSchools, as Sarah was stating. We take all threats seriously. We research them to their core, to the best of our abilities. We address them. And when we do find students that have, a grievance against schools, it's not just about pushing people away and saying you can't come near us. It's really about drawing people near and saying, what has made you so angry? Why do you feel that you need to make a threat against our schools? And let us help you work through those challenges.
Because the prevention of situations at school actually starts well before anything could arise.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. You're always a wealth of information and one of our favorites to be on the podcast.
Well, we appreciate, Student Services and all of our school emergency response teams. We really appreciate just the continued getting the word out on how we work together with the community to make safer learning environments.
Yeah, so over the past year, if you have shared, interacted, liked, or commented on anything Report, Don't Repost, you're included in that. You're helping spread the message, and we definitely thank you.
To see and learn more about our Report, Don't Repost campaign, we do have a video that we collaborated on with the Phoenix Police Department. You can find it on Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. Take a look, and you can see more on what we're doing here at PVSchools.
Shifting from safety, Sarah, let's talk about the culture of some of our schools and a really cool shout out.
Let's do it.
Congratulations go out to Desert Shadows Elementary School for being named and earning the prestigious Arizona PBIS Coalition Model School Award. This recognition signifies all the hard work and dedication of students, staff, and the community for creating a positive and supportive school environment for all. Congratulations, and keep on being Jawsome.
I'm so excited, Matt, to see that. When I was teaching, I remember when PBIS first came out, and it was a huge shift in mentality for a lot of teachers and schools. And we're just finding how it works very well and just rewarding kids. Again, positive behavior intervention is the main thing. And I think it's great.
And so this award obviously was for one specific school,
Yeah, very
but there are
impressive.
several schools throughout the district that earned recognition for PBIS. So definitely something that is really shining here in PBI or in PV schools, PBIS rather. And it kind of goes into that safety too, because the whole culture and climate, and as Dr. Osmundson said, finding supports and being able to reach out and include people is a strategy for safety.
It really is, yeah.
And that brings us to the end of today's podcast. For more information on the many journeys of excellence, visit pvschools.net.
And you can find PV Schools on social media by searching @PV Schools. Make sure to like, comment, and share, and support student success.
And make sure to support the pod by rating us on Apple and Spotify, and share the new episode on your platform of choice.
Bye.